My name is Eric Welander. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about the Logitech Circle View camera. So I'm not much of a minimalist myself, but I do love watching a lot of these channels on YouTube like Matt D'Avella or Craig Adams, people who are really driven by minimalism and then use it to do some amazing things. And I think there's a whole lot I appreciate about that philosophy. I mean, I've been getting rid of a lot of stuff and simplifying a lot of things in my workflow recently as well. But you're probably wondering, why am I going off on a rant about minimalism in the middle of a HomeKit camera review? Well, I think one of the key parts of minimalism is saying no to a lot of different things so that you can say yes to the certain things that really matter to you. And I think that this camera, in a way, does that. It sort of fits that aesthetic. It's a beautiful camera. It's not going to work with all your smart home ecosystems or support all these extra, integrations, but it does a really good job of working with HomeKit and with a hardwired electrical connection, so you can't use it with, a battery or put it all these other places. But again, it's saying yes to those specific HomeKit integrations and just doing a really good job at that makes for what I think so far is a delightfully simple and well-performing experience. Now, it is important to note that Logitech did send me this Circle View for review, so this is completely my unbiased opinion, but I just want to mention that up front. Now, as far as specs, one of the most impressive things in this camera is a 180-degree field of view. A lot of other HomeKit cameras have a 160-degree field of view, and when I set this up, I could really notice the difference that you were really viewing a broader area. Now, it's only 1080p video in 16:9 format, so it doesn't have like a 2K or 4K resolution, but still, for that 1080p pixels, it has a really good infrared sensor, broad dynamic range for a security camera. I was really impressed with the video quality, and it also has a nice metal base that sort of looks like an iMac stand in a way. Now, it's also IP64 weatherproof, so you can put this outside in most circumstances. And as I mentioned, you have to plug it in. There's no battery option. So there's a USB cable that's attached directly to the camera, and then the other end, you plug it in with a supplied power adapter. You might have heard me mention HomeKit video, HomeKit secure video. What is the deal with what this supports versus other cameras? So a lot of cameras that say they're compatible with HomeKit, like let's say an Arlo camera, for example, those will expose a recent image of what's coming off the camera, and it'll show up as a tile in your HomeKit app on your phone or your iPad or whatever. And if you tap on that, it'll open a live view of the camera. Now, if that camera, like this Logitech Circle View, works with HomeKit Secure Video, along with the tile in the Home app and the live view, it's also sending locally to your HomeKit hub this video feed, which then your HomeKit hub can process and look at, okay, I think that's a car, I think that's a person, and sort of spot these events where then it can record clips. And then those clips can be saved to your iCloud account for up to 10 days, depending on the iCloud account you have paid for, if you have a paid iCloud account. And then from there, when it's in iCloud, it can get sent to you as a notification with a nice image and then quick access to the video recording wherever you are. So you get all of that functionality with HomeKit out of the box. Now, setup, speaking of that, because it just works with HomeKit, you don't need to install any extra apps from the App Store. I have a folder full of apps on my phone of all these different smart home accessories that I've set up here, and so it's just nice sometimes to not have to have an extra app. You just scan the code and you can set it up from there. I was up and running with this camera very quickly. Now, mounting on the wall is another story. So you don't have to mount this on the wall. You can just use the stand and put it wherever makes sense in your setup. But I think the anchors that go in the wall on mine, just something was up with them and they weren't really working well with the screws. So I had to use some anchors that I already had at my home that'll fit these screws. If you happen to have the same issue, go to your local hardware store and you can easily find anchors that'll fit the screws from Logitech. But I'm guessing that this was just kind of a bad unit or something I got with bad anchors. The rest of the camera worked great though. Although I will say the wall mount itself was a little bit tricky to actually get the camera onto the mount the way I wanted it to. I would love if it would be able to mount sort of in multiple directions as you put it on. You wouldn't have to match it up just the right way, but whatever. Once you get it on the wall, it's solid, and you're not thinking about the wall mount anymore. Just a little bit of added effort during installation if you decide to wall mount this camera. And I'll link a support article from Logitech down below, which goes into details of wall mounting. So if you're curious about that, just go check out that article. Now, as far as using this camera, one of the other useful privacy features for this is that there's a button on the back of the camera that you can press to disable the video at the camera level. So you don't have to go fumbling through your phone or other device to turn off the video when you don't want it recording. You can also decide inside a HomeKit Secure Video when you want the camera to save recorded clips. This camera also exposes a motion sensor and a light sensor to HomeKit. Now, I found the performance, I was using the motion sensor very quick, especially I think the motion is being detected through the camera as opposed to like its own actual sensor. So very quick performance from what I could tell. I have an automation in my garage where I installed this camera so that when there's no motion detected in the garage, it'll shut off the lights in the garage. So I'm not just leaving the lights on in the garage burning extra energy. Now, there are some other cool ways you could combine the light sensor with the motion sensor to make some fancy automations, and I might go into that in a totally separate video. We'll see. Leave a comment down below if you want to hear me go into that in another update. So, is this camera the right one for you and your smart home? Now, I think if you want to put cameras outside, there's a whole lot of advantage to having battery-powered cameras because you can put them all kinds of different places outside. But with that added flexibility comes you have to have a hub, and you often have to get them in a pack of like multiple cameras at once, and then added bits of potential complexity onto the setup. So on the flip side, if you want this camera outside and you do have a way to send electrical power to it, great. Then I think it could be a very good option for that. And I love having the weatherproof rating for kind of an indoor-outdoor area like my garage where I have easy access to electricity and I do want a video monitor, but it also, might be a little bit warmer or cooler or wet than inside my home. If you're looking for a camera that supports a lot of cross-platform options and things, I'd love to see Apple add a HomeKit panel to iCloud.com so you could log on like a PC and control your HomeKit if you needed to. But that's for Apple, not necessarily for Logitech here. As I mentioned up at the top of the video, this is a very opinionated product, but if you're in the Apple ecosystem, if you already pay for iCloud, if you already have a HomeKit hub, this can be a really elegant solution that just, it says yes to the things that matter in your home and then makes for a very easy setup, very easy camera to use. And there's a link in the description below if you want to go purchase it. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. It helps other people find it. Subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.